Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To whom I am respectful for all my examiners of my thesis, Pak Rumbadi, Bu Ulan, Bu Vera, and my thesis supervisor, Pak Zulfianto. In this video, I would like to explain my revision that I have done to my thesis based on each suggestions from the examiners. First, from Pak Rumbadi. Regarding the purposive sampling method in the data collection, after I discussed with Pak Jub, the use of purposive sampling method was not to collect the data, but to select the data, because my research applied the textual analysis, and by using the purposive sampling method, I could select and choose the appropriate source of data, which based on the population. Webtoon Syahrani contains of 2 seasons, season 1 and season 2, and since the season 1 was only the available one, and based on my observation after reading this webtoon, I found that mostly this webtoon contains a lot of satirical expressions. Hence, using purposive sampling method, I choose to analyze the source of data of season 1 from Webtoon Syahrani. And for the analysis, for each satirical expressions or the translation techniques that is applied for each satirical expression that I have found, I have added into the chapter 3 of data analysis. I found that irony mostly applied by the translator was modulation and reduction technique, and for the sarcasm, mostly the translator applied the modulation and the amplification. For the paradox, mostly the translator used the modulation technique, and for the hyperbole, the translator used various translation techniques, including modulation, reduction, amplification, and established equivalent. And for the comments from Bu Wulan, first, for my research background, why Webtoon Syahrani contains a lot of satirical expressions, I have added the reason why Webtoon Syahrani contains a lot of satirical expression in my research background, because the author intended to use the Webtoon Syahrani to create this webtoon as a social critic or social learning for the readers towards the bad habits of the tradition, cultural tradition of the societies in Indonesia that still believe in asking help from a jinn. And for the webtoon characteristic, I have also added the information to the theoretical framework in the webtoon section, that webtoon has several characteristics, such as it was can be accessed using the internet, and it was designed using the vertical strip from top to bottom, so we have to scroll down the story, we have to scroll down the pictures in our smartphone. And also for the question how to identify satirical expressions, I have explained it in the chapter 1 in the theoretical framework of satirical expression, in chapter 3 also, in conclusion also, that to analyze this or to identify or to recognize the satirical expressions, we have to understand the context, because it was only can be recognized based on the context, including cultural context, the whole story, the plot, the characters, or even the situation that occurred in the certain story or in the certain text. And for the word counts of my data of satirical expressions in the search text, I found approximately through 2,000 words, and for the target text, I found 3,000 words. And also for the findings, I have presented in my chapter 3, and for the reason why irony applied the most in this webtoon, following the intention or the purpose of the author to convey her social critique through this story. So the irony was the most appropriate tool, other than satirical expression form, because using the irony, the author can express and can show how the ironic situation that happened in the story for the characters after they ask help from a jinn, because they expect to be happy but it didn't come out as their expectations, and etc. And also for the moderation technique, how do the translator apply the moderation technique, and the Vinay and Darbanat of moderation technique types applied for this research. because by using this theory, I can analyze how the modulation technique specifically applied by the translator, and I have added into the data analysis, which I found that mostly the webtoon translator applied the modulation by changing the abstract information to more concrete information or message, and the second one is by changing the sentence from passive in search text into active in target text, and also by changing the word position or lexical structure in order to provide a natural translation result in target text. And also occasionally the translator also using the modulation by changing one expression or certain expression in search text, another expression in target text, and that's all the revision that I have done. And one more was from Bu Vera, which to ask me to revise the space for references. I have revised the references, becoming double space as following the APA format writing style. And for the data of the year that the webtoon accomplished, I have also added into my search of data, which the webtoon of season 1 was accomplished, published after 1 year, to be exactly in 2019. That's all of my revision. Thank you for your constructive comments and suggestions. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.